Stop looking at the P&L. I don't care what the P&L is. I just focus on the trades, because if I can do good trades, the P&L will follow suit. I'm not worried about that. So that can interfere even with the best strategy on the planet. When I'm doing really well, I guess subconsciously I'm starting to drink my own Kool-Aid and I'm getting too confident, or I'm starting to think I'm the best. Wherever that happens, the market slaps me. The minute I did that, something clicked and I became my own old self, cool, composed, not overly excited. Things shifted and the recovery was phenomenal.
Looking at your sort of recent performance, you've managed to somehow recover from a big drawdown.
Yeah.
Talk us through how you managed to get to a point where you learned your system. How did you actually get to the point of having an edge? And then we can talk about how you managed to climb your way out of a drawdown.
Yeah, I've been doing this for many, many years. It took 6, 7, 8 years, like literally, of constantly losing money until I started to figure it out and began to be even. I'm not even talking about winning. I stopped losing. It took me like 6, 7 years to stop losing, basically. I wasn't losing a lot of money. I was playing on small money, but still, the road is tough. But then at one point, I stopped losing. And then it took a few more years to actually, beat the market, so to speak, in a constant fashion. The way I did it, the way I gained my edge was probably because I have at least 10,000 hours of chart watching. Like with anything else in life, they say that you need at least 10,000 hours of anything to become really good at it. So it was just about watching the markets, watching how it behaves, and slowly but surely it seeps into your unconsciousness and become part of you. So the system is good. I do have an edge. I see the market. I feel the market. I know where it's going. A lot of times I know where it's going and I can still lose the position. Overall, I was right on the conviction. So my convictions are 80-90% right, but I still lose trades. So now we're touching a different subject, which is money management and psychology and your mental state, right? So that can interfere even with the best strategy on the planet. Wherever I feel like when I'm doing really well, I guess subconsciously I'm starting to drink my own Kool-Aid and I'm getting too confident, or I'm starting to think I'm the best. Wherever that happens, the market slaps me.
That happens to the best of us. Yeah, the market has a way of humbling us. And in fact, you've done that recently where what you've just described, we can actually visually see it. Go ahead and share that. Talk us through what we're looking at.
So I'm coming out of the first challenge, killed it, like literally killed it. So I'm already overly confident. And then I'm starting the actual account, and I'm starting off, and right off the bat, I'm hammering, like I'm killing it. And I guess when I reached 8.2%, I was really close to the target, right? I guess at that point, I'm invincible or something. Everything shifted and it started slide downwards, but I was sliding downwards relatively slow. It was still very steady and I couldn't turn the ship around. Until at some point, I felt so deflated. I kind of lost confidence. That was actually a good thing, because when I reached that point, I stopped giving it so much weight in terms of the psychology part of it. I can't know for sure, but I feel like this was part of the problem. And at that point, when I was already all the way down to zero, pretty much, I was like, you know what? F that thing. F that thing, I don't care. I went back to my old ways and stopped overthinking, stopped overdreaming. I just went, you know what? Let's put it back in the backseat like it always was. The minute I did that, something clicked and I became my own old self, cool, composed, not overly excited. Things shifted and the recovery was phenomenal. I just need to keep that mindset.
Not only came from when you hit, psychologically, you hit rock bottom.
I did.
You literally just then at that point you could not lose any more psychologically.
Imagine getting so close to the target and then going all the way down, but it's just not just going all the way down. Think about the time period where it's happening was like 3 months of agony.
As well, I can see here you had 1, 2, 3 points, and then even at the end there was you hit that point again a little, but then something at that point changed. You were already you had too much momentum psychologically to back to this, because you went through what I call a paradigm shift, and that paradigm shift was no longer the wanting, and you want this, I want that, and believing and wanting to be right. Instead, you just focused on the process. You focused on the old you, what you described, and you is the trader who has discovered an edge and has the discipline to execute that edge consistently. And we can see that very, very impressive. And I hope traders watching can see that what it's so important to put emphasis on your psychology. And when you made that shift right at the bottom here, you made that shift where you completely let go of the outcome, became process orientated.
I used the technique. I wanted to do something that was going to be significantly changing my behavior, because I felt like I was at a dead end at that point. So in order to let go of all the weight that's coming with the performance or lack of performance, stop looking at the P&L. I don't care what the P&L is. I just focus on the trades, because if I can do good trades, the P&L will follow suit. I'm not worried about that. But constantly looking at that P&L and always talking to it, almost trying to convince it to go up, like you talk to that P&L and you have this tight relationship with that P&L, I found it to be distracting, and it's interfering with my natural flow. I stopped looking at that P&L. Even when I go to that panel, I don't look at the bottom left part of the screen, because I don't want to see the P&L. I just want to see the trades. And I get out of it as quickly as possible, and I just focus on the positions, on the convictions, and I know the P&L will set itself if I do everything else correct.
That's so liberating. When you let go completely, the money, the capital growth, that's just a byproduct, and our job is not to look at the P&L. That's not our job. Maybe for all the prop firms that we manage, maybe for our investors, maybe, you look at it every 3 months, every quarter you have a look. But on a day-to-day basis, the fact that you did that, it liberated you from that attachment to the money, because then the mind does, and what the ego does, it identifies itself with the P&L. So if the P&L goes down, that means that, you feel rubbish. And when the P&L is going up, you feel great, I'm the best, and the ego is very loud. But as soon as you switch off that stimulation, the ego doesn't have a lot of power at that point. Now you're just focused. Now your mind is a lot clearer, and you can focus on what you need to do, your job, which is following your trading plan, being in sync with the market. I've of course demonstrated that what a lot of traders can take away from this, because I've certainly taken a lot away from this, is it's just trusting in your process. You have to have an edge that you trust. Even when your mental game is low, you just need to remember that I need to trust the process. I need to ignore everything else and just trust the process.
That's right.
One thing as well, if you can't keep your eye off the P&L because it's literally in the bottom of the screen, then what you can do is you can some sort of live account or demo account, a small one, and it's your master account. Have a master account with an amount that you're comfortable with.
Detach yourself from that P&L, because I was so obsessive about that P&L. I just kept going for it, and that's I think it's distracting. I don't think it's healthy, and I'm breaking away from that.
Really difficult as a trader, because we're literally using money to make more money. We're risking money to make more. And because money is associated with providing for our family, shelter, food, our basic needs of survival, right? When we start seeing the money coming in and out, it automatically sparks that flight response. Then you're filled with adrenaline. Then you have cortisol in your body. Then your heart is high on fear. You want to fight and defend yourself, or you run away, and then either point you're already compromised emotionally. And that's literally what the market is designed to do, to
trigger these emotions.
Market consciousness, really. That's what really is. And for us, we get manipulated sometimes. We fall into the traps. Appreciate for you coming on to the CTI YouTube channel. Thank you for your time. I wish you best of luck.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you. Hopefully we'll see you again.